All right, what's up, beautiful people? It's Charity S Kid, aka God's Princess, and I'm back with another video. Today I have Miss Shawnee for the Womanhood series. So yeah, we're just gonna jump right into it.
Yes.
I'm excited. Okay, so I always start off my videos with asking people, what advice would you give your 24-year-old self? Because I'm 24. So
what advice would I give my 24-year-old self? All right, so
I don't know what things were like at that time.
That was 1994. Oh. So that was a good and a bad year for me. My grandma passed away in 94, who raised me. And the good thing is my husband and I, Reggie and I, started dating in 1994. So I would say the advice that I would give myself, first of all, I always say I would never change one thing. I would not take a page out of my story and tear it up and say, I wish that didn't happen.
That's beautiful.
Because it made me who I am today, and it helped me in my becoming. So I think one of the things that I probably would tell myself is to slow down and to take it slow and to focus more so on what I want to do.
Yeah.
I was very good at helping other people. I was very good at raising other people. I was very good at, bringing people along, defending other people. And I left myself.
Yeah.
I didn't take care of myself.
Yeah.
So I would tell myself to slow down and to take care of myself.
That's something that I keep hearing a lot from the videos. A lot of people are just like, focus on yourself. Yeah. Don't like just relax and focus on yourself. So that's interesting that we keep hearing that pattern.
Yes.
But okay, so how long have you and your husband been married?
We've been girl, you finna make me break out the fingers. So we got married in 98.
Oh wow.
So 25 years.
Wow.
Something like that. We've been married.
Amazing.
And we met in 94. So we dated 4 years.
Okay.
And then we got married in 98. So we're right at about 25. I may be a little off. Y'all don't fault me for it. But
that's 2 whole decades.
2 whole decades.
Wow. Yeah. That is interesting.
Yes.
Okay, so what advice would you give your unmarried self, like with all that you've been through? What would you tell yourself knowing what you were going to go through? Yeah.
I definitely, one of the things that I wish I would have done before I got married is healed.
What does that practically mean? Everybody's been saying that.
Right. So I went in broken. Like I didn't understand what inner healing was from my trauma as a childhood. I had a broken relationship with my mom at the time, broken relationship with my father, very dysfunctional family dynamic between like me, my siblings, and, so it was very dysfunctional. So I went in dysfunctional, which my marriage went through years of dysfunction. So I would have taken time to heal trauma. I would have got therapy before I got married instead of in 2007 when I had a breakdown. Then I went and got therapy. I wish I would have got therapy before I got married to just really go through those traumas that I went through as a child and understanding those things. Yeah, I would have definitely went through healing first. I would have spent time by myself first because I jumped from relationship to relationship until I got married. Yeah. And then when I got married, I still was bringing relationships into the marriage. So I've never had a time to myself. I've always been somebody's girlfriend. Always. And I love my grandma, and I don't know if you ever heard the saying what my grandma used to always say, you keep you a spare tie.
Oh, okay. Okay. Now I never heard that one, but I know
Keep
what that
your
means.
spare tire.
Yeah.
And you never let the left hand know what the right hand is doing. So I kind of carried that with me. That was my badge of honor. I kept me a spare tire.
Yeah.
And I never let the left hand know what the right hand was doing. That's just so crazy.
That's real though. That's literally what our generation is doing.
Yeah.
So I feel like I know like certain parts of like your testimony, and like, man, you have no idea how much that's needed right now.
Yes.
Because, okay, couple things.
Yes.
A lot of people say heal. And the reason why this is so important to me is because a lot of girls my age, they're like, oh, what is marriage like? Oh, I can't wait till God send my husband, da 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 da. Me being in my second year of marriage, I feel like these conversations are necessary because certain things you just won't understand till you're in it.
Until you're married.
You know what I'm saying? Yep. Like, I watched the Miles Monroe self-love sermon as a single person and as a married person, and it is different as a married person because it's like, oh, that's what you meant. Okay. So yeah, and that reminds me also something you said. The favorite thing to ask us was, is it that the marriage is bad, or is it the people in the marriage?
I don't think it's neither. I don't think the marriage is bad. I don't think the people in the marriage are bad. I think the experiences that you've had in life, and not properly dealing with them,
right,
and putting them in the proper perspective,
right,
can make a tornado.
Yes, yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's not that I was a bad person. Right. It's not that my husband was a bad person. Right. It's not that the marriage was bad. It was just that both of us had some experiences in life that we went through prior to us getting married and us after we got married that kind of just made a little tornado.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
And so when you don't know how to deal with stuff properly, it festers.
Man, yeah.
And you try to sweep things under the rug, but
that doesn't work.
Yeah, it don't work. Because we lived together for 4 years before we got married.
Oh, wow.
So I thought, well, I've been living with the ninja for 4 years, so I got his number. He got my number. Yeah. We hardly never argued. It was fun. He was funny. You know, we partied together.
Oh.
We did all of that together. You know what I mean? Because we weren't saved when we went to church, but we weren't walking in our calling and stuff like we are now. So I was thinking in my young and dumb self, like, what's going to change?
Yeah.
Nothing's going to change because we've been living together for 4 years and it's pretty much going to stay the way that it is. Boy, was I wrong.
So what kind of stuff started? If you not too much, you know what I'm saying, but enough that you can tell. What started happening?
You can ask me anything, and I can tell you anything you want to know. I'm so transparent. I told you I wrote a book about it.
Yes.
All my business is out there.
And we're going to leave that in the bio and all that good stuff.
Yeah. So what changed was for me is, see, we didn't understand marriage. We did do like a 2 or 3 day counseling session with this bootleg pastor. But we didn't understand a lot of the stuff. We didn't understand that when we said I do, that's when the fight really began.
Jesus.
Right?
Yeah.
So I know there's a question, and actually I'm probably jumping ahead of myself because we're on a panel tomorrow. And why did we get married? Why did we get married? To me, that's not the question, because getting married was easy.
That's the easy part.
Why did I get married? That's easy. Everybody can answer that question. Between your love and your lust, you don't know which one is more prevalent when you get married. You know what I mean?
True.
So that's easy. Getting married was easy.
Staying married, Jesus.
Why did I stay married is the real question.
Why?
How did I stay married is the real question.
Yes.
So we didn't understand that in those 4, when we lived together for 4 years, when we said I do, that's when the relationship really started.
Oh my God.
Because before then, I would say it was a lust ship.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
But when we said I do, and we put our name on that ink, and we knew it was like, all right, then that's when our real relationship started. That's when the test started. That's when we started going through everything that, people say the first 3 years, the first 7 years, the first 10 years. Hell, I'm going to be honest, the first 25 years for me, I'm still learning the ninja. Every day he's teaching me something new, or every day I'm discovering myself, because what you have to understand is the one thing we didn't know, it was we had to grow together.
Yeah.
So when he married me at 28, I'm not that 28-year-old Shawnee anymore.
So you got to keep getting to know the person.
You have to keep growing. Wow. So things, and it's so funny because, okay, so I always say that I've never been romanced because I was always a hard girlfriend.
Okay.
I was that chick. Yeah. You know what I mean? I was ride or die. I would fight his friends. You know, one time we was at Disney World and this man got rowdy and I was like, "What you want to do?" I got this, baby. What you want? So I was a hard girlfriend, right? So he never opened doors for me because I didn't require that.
Okay.
I opened my own door. He never, wait for me to pull out the chair for me. I pull out my own chair. So
they would our generation would call you a feminist. That's the stuff that you're describing. That's what you were.
And that's what I was. I was definitely that. So around 45-ish, I started seeing men open the doors for their women and their wives. And I was like, oh. I started seeing men pull out the chairs, wait for their wives to open the door for their wives and do stuff like that. And then I was like, nigga, why you don't open the door for me? What you mean? I don't open the door for you?
I never did that before.
No, we had this whole big argument about him not opening the door for me. But what I realized in that moment, I had to go back and repent and apologize to him and let that go, is because I wanted something that I saw, but I thought I wanted it because it looked good. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Everybody else was doing it.
Because everybody else was doing it. But in that moment, I thought I was changing. So I was like, you need to change with me. It didn't matter when I was 28, but it matters now. Okay. You know what I mean? So he's like, are you changing for you, or are you changing because you see everybody else doing it? And I was like,
that's a good question.
Oh,
that's a good question.
That's a good question. So we had a big blow up about it. And then I had to go back and say, you know what? You're right. I'm sorry. Wow. I am changing. I have changed, but you ain't got it. You open the door for me. If you want to open it, open it. If you grow to that, then open it. If you don't want to open the door for me, I'm good.
That's that healthy love when you're not placing demands on people to do anything. That's what I'm learning, man. Yeah. Okay, so I have another question. I heard you bring up I guess the mother womb and stuff like that. Now, how does that roll over into marriage, and how does that affect things?
My mother womb?
Yeah. Ooh. Yeah, because people always talk about, the dad not being there and how it affects you.
So listen, I'm not going to cry. You is not going to make me cry.
No.
So mother womb. And I'm going to say what I'm going to say, but before I say that, I want to put a disclaimer out there that I absolutely love my mama. That we have come so far in our relationship, so far that she now lives with me.
Oh.
I never would have thought that I would be the child that is literally taking care of my mom and giving her, sharing this with her. That's how far God has brought our relationship. Because, but He's healed both of us, me, her, and it took for her wanting to change. Because for a long time, my mom was, I'm just the way I am. I always been like this. And, she just refused to change. And we had to tell her, we had to put up with that when we were little. But now that I'm a grown woman, you can't do that to me. You can't pick up a stick and beat me with it right now. You know what I mean? So just put that disclaimer out. Me and my mom are in such a better place. And this is not because... This is not to degrade her.
Right, no.
All right, so coming up, my mother womb was deep because my grandma raised me up until I got in the 7th grade, and my mom got married, and my mom wanted me to come live with her. She really wanted me and my sister, but my grandma had my baby sister since she was born, and she wasn't giving up trees. That's just the bottom line. So I'm like, okay, I'll go, so I end up going to stay with my mama in the 7th grade. But my mom was always, even as a child living with my grandma, she was just always the mean mommy. She was just mean. And she'll tell you that. She knows she was mean. She's now accepted that. For a long time, you couldn't tell her she was mean. But my mom was mean. So when I went to go live with her, I don't know why I thought she was going to become nice. I guess because she asked me in a nice way. But anyway, so our relationship was very, very tumultuous. Like, she was very mean. She didn't see it as abusive, but very abusive with her words. Yeah. Very abusive with her hands. And I caught the brunt of the abuse. And then I became abusive. You know what I mean? So we had a very tumultuous relationship. Like at 16, I tried to commit suicide. Oh, wow. Because me and my mom was just like, I couldn't take it. Yeah. I couldn't take between her being abusive, between my father not being there. Yeah. I did have a little relationship with my stepfather. So the mother wound was deep because I never experienced that love. Right? Yeah. So love to me was hard. Yeah. Love to me was defense. Yeah. Yeah. You know, love to me was, you know, I can say what I want to say, and then whether you like it or not, you're going to take it because I love you, and that's just the way that I am. So that mother wound carried over into my marriage, because then I started treating my husband like that. I started, you know, thinking that, you know, my love was defense. So if he did something or said something to me, then it was always a fight. It was always a fight. Yeah. So I had taken on my mom's meanness. Yeah. You know what I mean? I had taken on that, you know, so that wound, it was a long time before that mother wound got healed. Like, it really didn't get healed until my 30s, my mid 30s. Wow. So I carried that with me for a long time. So we went through a lot of abuse. We went through abandonment because she didn't have me for years. The non-love, and she just really didn't know how to love. She raised me based on how, you know, that generation. You know, I don't know how old your mom is, but my mom is 73, 74. And boy, those were some tough mamas. Them was some that generation right there was raised tough. Yeah. Yeah, they mean. They was mean. My grandma age, yeah, they was mean. They was raised real tough. So that carried on. The mother wound, it took a while for the mother. And I realized that like when I was 37, I ended up going to counseling. And in one of the sessions, I didn't even know I needed to bring my mom in. Like, I didn't even know it was an issue because I hadn't wore it for so long. Yeah. I just took it as that's just how it is. That's our relationship. She gonna be who she gonna be. I'm gonna be who I be. I can love her from over there. Right. She ain't got to come in my space. I'm grown. Right. And then my counselor was like, you need to bring your mom in. Y'all need to have a conversation. Yeah. And that was a turning point for both of us, is when she came in for that conversation. Wow. That's really encouraging. Yeah. Yeah. I love that. Yeah. Okay. So that makes sense. You hear a lot of people talk about like the dad not being there, but not how the mom affects things. Like, I was actually reading this book. It's called Mother Hunger. And it talks about how the mom is actually your first love. Like, absolutely. They say the dad is the first love. No, your mom is the first person to make you feel protected. Right. Make you feel safe. Like, she's the one who runs to your knees as a baby if you're hungry. Yep. You know what I'm saying? So if she neglects you, like, while you're crying as a baby and things like that, that affects you in your brain. Like, that's a real thing. So it really does. Yeah. Yep. But okay, so my next question is, what would you say the difference between a girl and a woman is? Ugh, that's a good question. You know, it's funny because I'm a little comical. Yeah. So when I was coming up, I always thought you didn't become a woman until you had sex. You know. Yeah. That was a thing when I was coming up. You're still a little girl. Yeah. You're still a little girl. That's what people told me in high school, so that's still a thing. You're still a little girl. Yeah. You ain't a woman until you've had sex. Yeah. That is so far from the truth. No, it's not the truth. I know a lot of people having sex is still very childish. Especially at that age, it's so underrated. But anyway. Yeah. So I would say what makes a woman, turns a girl into a woman, is when she learns how to love. And when she learns how to first love herself, to love God. When you get those two right there, then it's going to resonate. You can't help but everyone around you love. That is so true. People see me now and they be like, I cannot believe that you was that person. The people that didn't know me then.
Oh, okay.
Be like, Miss Shauna, you was not like that. I really was.
Yeah.
I went to my class reunion, like my 30th class reunion, back in August, and a couple of people, and I almost was brought to tears because one of the girls came up to me and she said, I never would have thought that you would turn out the way that you are. She's like, I follow you on Facebook and I see that you're in ministry. I see that you're a minister. I've heard you preach. I go and watch your church because somebody said you preached at your church, and I went and watched it, and I was like crying like, that can't be Shani. Like, no, not Shani. Yeah, that was me. I didn't know how to love. So it wasn't until I figured out how to love and what love was, loving myself, loving God, and getting that relationship with God. And I remember when my marriage hit that brick wall in 2007, and I tried to commit suicide again because I was done. I really was trying to take myself out. And we hit that brick wall in 2007, and I remember saying when I was on my deathbed, just take me because I don't know how to do this. Why you keep letting me live? Like, I don't know how to do this. Yeah. And it wasn't till I started going to counseling and I really started focusing on me. And I was so selfish. Really? Because God told me, like, you're going to have to just pull away, because I was so busy taking care of everybody else. Taking care of I was making sure kids, everything. So I really became selfish in that moment. And baby, I went on a cleanse. I went on deliverance. Yeah. I started doing deliverances. I started just really focusing on myself. And I kind of felt bad, but then I didn't because it felt so good. Yeah. And then it got to the point to where the deliverance was so prevalent. It was like everybody in the house. When I got delivered, everybody in the house got delivered. Yeah. Yeah. Everybody got delivered. And I remember my husband coming to me like, you cheating on me, right? Because like there's something different about you. Like you ain't, you cheating on me. Like, boy, I am with Jesus, boy. I'm telling you, the best man I ever met. But anyway, it was like it was in those moments that I became a woman. I didn't become a woman until I was 37 when I went through that moment, and it took me 3 years. I went through a cleansing, inner healing, deliverance process with myself because there was no deliverance at the church I was at. There was no inner healing at the church I was at. Wow. There was none of that. It was literally Jesus walking me through my own deliverance and inner healing, which is how I was able to help other people in deliverance. So,
and he'll do that too. Yeah. He will really walk you through and remind you of certain things you've been through, that certain mindset that formed as a result of those things that happened. He'll do that for real.
Yeah. So that's the answer to the question. You become a girl, a woman. A girl, you don't become a woman when you start having sex. You don't become a woman when you get into a marriage and get into a relationship. When you become a mother, you know, there is a motherly instinct that comes in when you do become a mom. But it wasn't until I learned how to love, and that's what exuberates off of me is love. Yeah. Now I can, let me just say this now. I always tell people, I don't know how delivered I am until you try me. I ain't a killer, but don't push me. I still got some of the, and I think that's just something that I don't know, if I think God uses it now for the kingdom, because you still have to have, because the saints will try you. Yeah. So you still, the saints are saints, I love the saints, but you still got to have that centeredness about you where people know that you are truly about your Father's business and don't try me. So I ain't gonna say I gave it all, I told somebody on Facebook the other day, he was like, he posted something under one of my posts, like, oh, they must have forgot you can fight. I was like, listen, I done retired these hands. Right? I fight for Jesus now. But don't make me bring him out of retirement. Yeah. I'm just joking. Yeah. No, I'd be like, I ain't fighting
nobody. Unless you have to. Okay, so I mean, I love all this because a lot of people would look at you and say that you're successful. You're a successful woman. Like your mom, your wife, you got the house. Y'all are in y'all career and stuff like that. So I think it's also important to have these conversations so that people can see the in between. Yeah. Like this is like y'all for Color Girl moment. Like we want to know the story behind the beauty, the way that y'all carry yourself. all that. We want to know the real and how did you get there.
Yeah.
But okay, so another question I had was like, because this is something that I'm learning now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what is self-love practically? Like, what does that look like? Because like for me, I thought I knew, then I realized I didn't know, then I thought I knew, then I realized I didn't know.
Yeah.
So like, help us out.
Yeah. I think self-love, I'm gonna be honest.
Mm-hmm.
I think for every person, mm-hmm. self-love is different.
Yes, I agree.
It's different. Mm-hmm. The one thing that we do mm-hmm. is we see somebody else say they take themselves out to eat, mm-hmm. or they take themselves to the club and have mm-hmm. them a drink, mm-hmm. or they go get their hair done, mm-hmm. or they go and they say, this is self-love. I'm mm-hmm. self-loving myself today. And then we take a picture of that mm-hmm. in our mind. Oh, is that self-love? But let me go get my hair done. Mm-hmm. Let me go get me a cup mm-hmm. and get me a drink. And then you wake up and be like, I still don't feel like I love myself. Yeah. I would have got my hair done. I got my nails did. And I still don't feel like I love myself. I'm still depressed. I'm still, I still feel like I want to cry. Yeah. I still don't want to be here. I still want to just lay in the bed. So I think self-love for every person has to be defined by that person. Yeah. So what self-love looks like for me may be something different for you. Yeah. I know everyone is saying now this soft girl regimen that they're going through. Well, I don't want to be a soft girl. I haven't bought into that yet. That soft girl. Yeah. I think I'm soft enough.
Okay. See?
I'm soft. But I think self-love, and that's no shade.
Yeah.
It's just, some people feel like they need to go through that, and that's cool. Yeah. Some people. Mm-hmm. So self-love, you really have to spend time with God. Mm-hmm. And you really have to spend time with yourself to figure out what that is for you. Mm. So self-love for me is a good movie under my covers watching TV. Yeah. By myself with my door closed. Yeah. Close the door. Yeah. Don't come in until 2 hours. This movie gonna be 2 hours. Then you go out there and sit on the couch and play your game. Give me 2 hours.
Yeah. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Self-love can be me just going in the car, putting on me some country music, and just riding out. Yeah.
So it's like finding out what you need and giving it to yourself.
You know what I mean? In the mornings when I get up, I don't say that self-love. I think that's God love. That's me spending time with God. You understand? Mm-hmm. So you really have to sit with yourself and figure out what it is that makes you love yourself. Yeah. Whatever that is. Yeah. And it can be something different. Mm-hmm. Getting my hair done don't make me feel like self-love because I've been getting my hair done since forever. I've been getting my nails done. Right. That's just keeping up with myself. Yeah. To me, that's not self-love. But for somebody else who doesn't do it, they may feel like that's self-love. So what I'm saying is don't let the world define what self-love is for you. Yeah. Don't let social media, Facebook define what self-love is for you. You dig it within yourself and you figure out what that thing is for you that makes you feel love.
Yeah. That makes
sense. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Okay, so next, which way do I want to go? Okay, so let's start here. Okay. Because like I said, it's a lot of girls want to be married and things like that. So if someone, let's just say someone single, a girl came to you and she was like, I want to find love. Like, I want to be married. Like, what would your response to that be?
Well, in marriage, marriage is not for everybody.
Yeah, it's really not.
Like, marriage ain't for the weak.
That's the conversation that needs to be had, bro. Like, don't just get married because you want to be married, bro. Like,
marriage ain't for the weak.
Yeah, it's not.
You got to be ready. You got to be ready and willing to fight for marriage. That's why you see so many people getting married and divorced. So I would say to her, you know how to fight?
No, for real. For real. Yeah.
Do you know how to fight? You know how to fight? And I'm talking about in the natural and the spirit. Because you're going to have to do both.
Yes, for real.
You're going to have to do both. You're going to have to know how to fight in the spirit realm. Yes. With prayer. With fasting. You're going to have to know how to fight in natural realm with yourself. Killing your flesh. Oh my God. Killing yourself. Humbling yourself. Submitting yourself. All of that. So I would say to her, girl, you know how to fight. But that's what it's finna be.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what. And if you gonna give up in the third round, then you ain't ready.
Yeah.
When the first disagreement come, or when you don't get your way, or when something happened where they do it more than one time. They say I'm sorry, and they come back and they do it again. They say I ain't gonna cheat no more, and they come and cheat again. And now they done brought another child into your marriage, and now they done brought all this stuff. You gonna fight? You gonna lay down? You gonna what you gonna do? Yeah. You understand? So that I'm serious. I won't quote no scripture.
Right.
I won't quote no scriptures. I won't tell her to go to Bible study.
Yeah.
I'll tell her you better get on your knee. You better know how to fight.
Yeah.
Do you know how to fight? Because that's what it's gonna take.
Yeah. For real.
I'm just being real.
So describe one that's not too sensitive, but describe one of y'all's hardest seasons. What did that look like, and how did y'all make it through?
One of our hardest seasons was, I would say, did come in 2007. I say for years, from 98 up in 2007, we were married, but I don't think we understood what our marriage was, right? So I wouldn't even sit here and tell you that I didn't cheat, that I was perfect, because I wasn't. But in 2007, all of that, God said, all right, I'm tired of you niggas.
Yeah.
Y'all want to play like that? All right, how about this?
Yeah.
Them, you know what I'm saying? Because he gave us plenty of opportunities to clean ourselves up. And in 2007 is when we hit that brick wall, and it came out that not only was he cheating, well, I would say, and I think the reason why it hit me so hard, because in 2005, 2006 is when I made the end of 2005, I made up in my mind, okay, I'm finna really dedicate myself to just my marriage. Yeah. And I started cleaning myself up and getting, all of my soul ties up out of my system and all of this kind of stuff. So I started like in 2005, and then 2007 is when we came to that point to where I found out that he had another child outside of our marriage. And I had to come clean on some stuff too that I had done. It had started catching up with me. But that was for me, because I was so prideful, right? Because I always been cute in the face and slim in the waist. I was so dumb. I was so prideful in who I was, and in who I could be. You know what I mean? Till it just brought me to my knees, because I didn't expect that from him. Yeah, I didn't expect him to do that to me. You know what I mean? I'm taking care. His son is living with me. I really took care of him from the time he was like 4 years old up until he graduated. So I was really caught off guard with him doing that to me. How could you do that to me? Yeah. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So our marriage hit that brick wall in 2007. And I never forget when I tried to commit suicide. I was literally at the end of my rope. I had just found out everything. I just really found out how ugly I was and how ugly our marriage was. And it's like, I don't even want to deal with it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. I don't want to face my ugly. Yeah. I didn't want to face my ugly. Yeah. But God had a purpose, because even in that, when I was committing suicide in that process, that's why I have a deep compassion for people that succeed in committing suicide. Because I know what that fight is like from the moment that demon, and it is definitely demonic when it tells you and you come into agreement that everybody would be better without you, that fight. So I'm very sensitive when it comes to people that that succeeded. Yeah. Because the fight around me, I remember the fight. I remember the demons coming out of my closet trying to get to me, and the shield. It was like they would hit a shield every time they would try to come for me to take me. And I could feel myself falling through the darkness. Wow. But then the shield would come and like lift me up. Wow. So I can see the fight. Yeah. In the spirit, I can see the demons trying to get to me, and I can see the shield of protection. Yeah. that was around me. So when I realized that I didn't succeed, because when I went out, I don't remember anything else when I went out. I remember waking up in the hospital like, God dang it, I done survived again. And I'm like, why you keep letting me? You see, I don't want to be here. Why you keep saving me? Yeah. So I go to the mental hospital, and it was that night that changed my life. My deliverance, I always tell people, my deliverance literally came on the mental bed. Because they put me, I was in a room by myself, right? So I wasn't hallucinating, because by this time the hospital had released me. So they have to wait for all of the stuff to get through your system before they release you. And in that night, I would doze off into these deep sleeps, and then an angel would wake me up and be like, all right, get up. And he was like, are you ready to let me help you? Wow. And I'd be like, no, I don't want to live. No, I don't want to live. Leave me alone. And then I would doze off, and then I would go back to certain parts of my childhood, right? And then the angel would wake me up again and say, are you ready to let me help you? I'm like, no, I don't want to. I don't want to live. Let me go. I had made up in my mind, like, I ain't living for Jesus. I ain't living for nobody. And then the last time that I woke up, I just remember just yelling out, Jesus. Because finally I realized that this was happening for real. Like, it was literally me and the angel in that room that night fighting. Like, he was fighting for my destiny. Wow. Like, and I was like, nope. I already made up my mind. I didn't want to live. I don't want to be married. I was like, I'm done with him. I'm done with all of this. I'm done. I don't want nothing to do with Jesus. Like, nobody. So when I woke up the next morning, so anyway, I went back to sleep. The Lord really ministered to me. I wrote about it in my book. But when I woke up the next morning and it was time for visitation, I kind of figured Reggie would come. Right? I didn't want to see him. But when I laid eyes on him, and when I looked up and it was like, hey, you got a visitor, and I looked up and I saw it was him, it was just a difference. I saw him through the eyes of love for the first time. He looked different. He smelled different. It was just different. And I remember being speechless, and he was like, you all right? And so I was just like, yeah, I don't know. And he said to me, and this is what saved our marriage, because I had made up in my mind I was divorcing him. And he said, let me help you. He said, I caused this pain. I did this. He's like, let me help you. He's like, and when I get you well, if you want to divorce me, you can divorce me. Wow. But let me get you healed. Let me get you well. When I make sure you well, if you want to divorce me, you can divorce me. That changed our marriage, because I was expecting him to come in. I'm sorry, like he's done in the past. Baby, please, baby, I'm sorry, baby, Shawty, please don't leave me, Shawty, please, no, please. I was expecting him to like, get on your knees, what? You better beg. And it wasn't that. And I saw him through the eyes of love for the first time. That's what saved our marriage. Wow. And so that's when another fight began, because now the fight, and honestly, in my mind, I was like, okay, let me get healed, delivered. I knew to do work on myself. Let me get delivered, and then I'm going to divorce him. See, that's what I'm saying to myself. I'm going to use him. I'm going to get delivered. Then I'm going to divorce him. I'm going to wait till he think I'm going to wait till he think I'm okay. I'm going to wait till he think, I'm going to wait till he think I'm going to pay him back for that one. I'm just joking.
I know what you're talking about.
And it was the complete opposite. When I started going through my deliverance process, him watching me go through my deliverance process brought him to deliverance. Brought Daisha to deliverance. Brought my whole house, because all of us was running wild. It brought everybody to deliverance. So I always say my mental bed was my deliverance bed, and not just my deliverance bed, but my entire family deliverance bed. Wow. Because once I came in and got saved, and everybody started seeing the change, my friends, my best friends, my sisters, my cousins, my mama, everybody was like, okay, we need a piece of this Jesus. And I promise you, everybody got saved. My sister, everybody, my mama, my daughter, my best friends, all my friends around me.
That's crazy.
Everybody got saved.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that was our turning point in 2007. And we've been going strong ever since then. Once I realized and I decided that, and I remember we had a meeting. I was going to divorce him for real. We had a meeting with one of the apostles, the church we was going to. She's over the church, and she was coming in for revival. And I had requested to speak to her. Apostle Fana Wiley, she helped save our marriage. But I remember meeting with her, and in that meeting, it was me and Reggie, and I was basically preparing myself to tell Reggie that, you know, I was going to divorce him. And one of the things that she said in that meeting, she was like, what did Jesus say? What did he tell you? Yeah. Because I can tell you what I see. I can tell you what I know God want to do in this marriage, but you got to see it and you got to know it for yourself. What did he say? She was like, have you forgiven him? I'm like, huh? He's still here, right? She said, no. Yeah. And then she looked at him and she was like, does she still bring it up? He was like, yep. Every time we argue. You forgave yet. Does she still, yep. She say, well, you ain't forgave him. Yeah. She said, when you forgive him, you got to forgive him and love him like it never happened. What? I got to do what? You got to forgive him. You got to love him like it never happened. That means you can't bring it up no more. His debt is paid. You repented? She asked Reggie, you repented? Yes, ma'am. You done with all that? Done. But his debt is paid. He don't owe you nothing. He don't owe you nothing. He owes you nothing. You expected him to. That changed my whole entire perspective. And she was like, before you get up off this couch, you got to let me know if you forgive him. It took me, and I was like, yeah, she good. Me and Jesus went through it on that couch. I screamed. She said, let it all out. I hollered, let go the guilt, let go the shame, let go the embarrassment, let go all of it. Let it go right here. We went through a deliverance right now. She's like, just let it all go. Yeah. And I hollered and I screamed, and my husband was there, you know, the blood of Jesus, you know. And I got up and I told him, I forgive you. Yeah. So our marriage took a turn when we both forgave each other. Man. Yeah. Wow. Well, for those who want to be married, you know, you never know what's going to happen. Okay. And you got to be willing to forgive and love like it never happened. Are you ready to do that? Then stay single if you can. That's what it's like. Okay. So what's like one of the craziest things you've done for love? Like you so in love, you just done did something crazy. Girl. I was cuckoo for Cocoa Pops. I done did some crazy stuff for love. I done had many fights. Yeah. Well, I'm gonna take that bite. Not for love. I did it for lust. Because remember I told you I ain't know what love was. It took me till I was 2007 to discover love. Yeah. And understand what love was. So before I knew what love was, I did some crazy things for lust. I've stolen. Oh, wow. You was a ride or die. I was a ride or die. I rode in the car with drugs, doing drug pickups. This is for my boyfriends. I did all of that because I had to have me before, you know, I thought I wanted me a drug dealer. I thought I was going to marry me a high profile ghost. Oh. She said she wanted a ghost. Okay. Period. So I've done crazy stuff like that. I've had fights, you know. I've been sprayed with mace. I've had bar fights. I've knocked people beside the head with bottles. I've got hitting over the head with bottles. I've done all of that. Everything young and dumb you would do for a boyfriend, I did it. Yeah. Let me just tell you this. I always had Jesus with me. I was raised in the church. Yeah. So I was too scared to do, like, you couldn't get me to pull no gun and shoot nobody. You know, I wasn't that type of, like, I wasn't that bad. Like, I would cap. So I always had Jesus. Yeah. I always was kind of scared of Jesus. You know. Yeah, I still would go to church. I still was scared of Miss Francis, and you know, I was still scared of my mom and my grandma. You know, I had a little Jesus in me. So I didn't do all crazy stuff. I just did little minor baby stuff, child. That little stuff I did wasn't nothing to end me up in prison with a life sentence or nothing like that. You know what I'm saying?
Our generation, we just a little off. We be doing, crazy stuff. Yeah.
I wasn't. Yeah. Okay. I told you I was a little hard, so I didn't get too caught up into all of that. You know, just enough.
Yeah. Okay, so all right, something that's like trending a lot right now with our generation is like polygamy. You know what that is, right?
Yeah, where you can have more than one wife.
Yeah. Now, why is that a dumb idea to you?
Because I believe in the sanctity of marriage, and I know I've been hearing. I listen. I work for the government, so you have to be flexible when you hear people talk about different things. And I hear the different religious talks, and I hear the different talks about polygamy, and people saying that in the Bible David had 200 wives, and they talk about in the Old Testament how the men had all these wives, but Jesus came and sanctified all of that.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Jesus came, and when Jesus came, and then he brought forth the new law. All of that is under the blood. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I believe in the new covenant of marriage, and that's just my belief. I don't think polygamy is biblical in context, because under the new covenant, I believe in being the husband of one wife and being the wife to one husband.
Okay.
That's what I believe. And when you invite, I know from experience, when you invite people into your relationship and into your marriage bed and all of that stuff, it just brings in a whole bunch of confusion. Now, let me just say this: sex is not the only thing that can defile a marriage bed.
Oh, what does that mean?
When they say, don't defile the marriage bed. I hear that a lot. Yeah. And most people think that's just with sex.
Okay.
The marriage bed is not defiled. The marriage bed is undefiled, meaning, so most married couples take that as saying that they can do anything in the marriage, in the bed.
Oh, okay.
Right? Okay. But sex is not the only thing that defile your marriage bed.
Okay. Want to elaborate on that or no?
Yeah. Sex ain't the only thing. Sin can defile it.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
It ain't just sex.
Yeah.
Jealousy. Bringing another person into the threesome. All of that can defile the marriage bed. So we've just taken the context of the marriage bed is undefiled, so I can do what I want in my marriage bed.
Okay.
No.
I see what you're saying. Okay, gotcha.
If that's the case, then what's the purpose of you having a marriage? But anyway, being in a marriage with one person, I believe it's God. I believe it's covenant. I believe it's the new covenant. I believe it's the way that, I don't know what was allowed back then. I don't even know if it was allowed, if they just did.
Yeah, right. We weren't even here.
Yeah, because if God wanted Adam to have more than one, he would have made more than one Eve at a time.
True.
He would have made 5 or 6 of them.
That's a good point.
If he felt like Adam, a man, was supposed to have a whole bunch of women, then why just make one Eve? He didn't make her 10.
Yeah, that's true.
He made Adam 1. So I believe that I don't know if it was so called, God, but I think it was something that man did. And until, Jesus came along and, with the new covenant, I think it was just something that just, man did. I ain't gonna say it was God.
Right. Yeah.
But I believe that under the new covenant and under the old covenant, that it was always intended for Adam to have one wife.
Yeah.
And that's Eve. So I believe it's always intended for Reggie to have one wife.
Period.
And that's shocking. Period.
Okay, so last question. We're gonna wrap it up. Yes. I've enjoyed all of this so far, and I really appreciate you sharing because you didn't have to. But based on like just what you've been through in life, what's one thing that you would say that you can offer to like my generation? Like it could be anything. It could be like how to be submissive. It could be how to cook for your man. It could be how to love yourself, even in marriage. It could be how to anything. What's one thing that you think that you could teach the young ladies of my generation?
Well, I would say It's a lot of things that I could teach y'all. Y'all are ooh.
Yeah.
But y'all ain't no more ooh than what we was.
We got it from y'all.
Yeah, don't get it twisted. Y'all ain't doing nothing that we didn't do.
Right.
Y'all just got access to it being exposed.
Yeah.
Y'all got the internet.
Yeah. Yeah.
We didn't have that.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's really not a big difference.
Right.
The one thing that I would offer the young women is to understand and discover what love really is. Because it don't change until you figure out the love of God.
Yeah.
And how that works for you. What that means for you. I promise you, once you get that down, there go your identity.
Yes.
There go your confidence.
Yeah.
You don't need nothing else.
Yeah.
I love my husband. I would be heartbroken if God take him away from here. But guess what? Life goes on.
Yes.
You understand what I'm saying? Because I have the love of God. I already know whatever is ahead of me, that God is with me.
Yeah.
Because I understand his love. He don't play by me. That's how I look at it. He don't play by. He will mess you up by. Come for me if you want to.
Yeah.
He don't play by me. So it wasn't until I understood the love of God that I was able to find my identity in not just myself, but in my marriage, as a mother, as a sister. You know, I thought I had to force my way into every situation. Now I just lay back and just I let Reggie defend. I let Reggie. If Reggie say I can't go, I used to be like, why I can't go? You know, now I'll be like, all right, I'm cool. I'm finna go in the room and watch TV. If he say nah, baby, you don't need to. I don't go.
Okay, so now I got another question because that's submission, right?
I think it's a form of submission.
Okay,
and it's a form of allowing him to lead. I trust him to lead me now.
Yeah,
I trust when he say don't, I don't.
Now, how did you grow to that place? Because I feel like for me, first of all, it's like when you expect a man to naturally know how to lead, that's wrong. But a lot of guys expect you to naturally submit. No. But it's like you don't submit to somebody who doesn't show leadership skills. You know what I'm saying?
My husband, Reggie, has always had great leadership skills. So I don't know if I agree with that.
Okay.
Because he was always a leader.
Okay.
He was always, like, when he went on his job, he got hired with the city of Tampa. It was a year or two before he was promoted to, like, a team lead. He's always had. I remember when we first started talking in 94, and we met as friends in 92, but in 94 when we started back, like, engaging each other, and he was trying to sell drugs. He was selling the drugs here and there, and I remember talking to him on the phone and saying to him, why are you selling drugs? Like, you're so smart. Why are you doing this? What you gonna do with your life? What you want to be? So you want to do this for the rest of your life? And he said I was the first woman to ever say that to him. Wow. I said, you too smart for this. Like, what? You a leader. You don't know you're a leader? Yeah. Like, everything you do, you got swag, you know? So I don't know. I think what changed for me is when I saw Reggie go after God like he did. Okay. It wasn't until I saw him submit to God.
Okay.
And submit to the process of his calling to God, because he wasn't raised in church like me.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? So he didn't go to church. Our second date was him going to church with me.
Oh, wow.
I was like, okay, I'll go to the movie. He wanted to take me to the movies. I was like, okay, I'll go to the movies with you, but you got to go to church with me. He was like, go to church with you? I was like, yeah. He took me to the dollar movie, and that was on a Saturday. And that Sunday, when I walked into church, he was waiting in the foyer for me. Oh, 94. He was waiting in the foyer. Oh. He had his outfit on that he wore at his grandma's funeral. Oh. That was the only outfit he had. So it wasn't until Reggie, I saw Reggie really lean into his authority in Christ.
Yeah. Okay.
When I saw him lean into his authority in Christ and start walking that thing out, then that's when I was able to take a step back and be like, okay, because I knew then that if he was allowing the authority of Christ to rise in him, then I was like, okay, he can lead me. He can lead me. I felt safe enough to follow. That's it. Yeah. That was it. And because before I didn't, I used to give him a hard time. Yeah. Like, he couldn't tell me nothing. And I mean nothing. Yeah. He couldn't tell me nothing. I gave him a hard time. He stuck around though, you know what I mean? Oh. So but yeah, so I would just tell to answer the question, I hope I answered it.
Yes.
The new generation of women is to discover the love of God, the love of Christ. Because once you discover that, and I know it sounds so cliche.
It does.
It sounds so cliche because you're like, how am I discover the love of Christ if I don't even know what love is? That's where you got to start. Yeah. You got to start with reading your word. Yes. You got to start with praying. Mm-hmm. You got to start 10 minutes. If you don't even know how to pray, the first 2 minutes before your feet hit the floor, just spend time talking to God. Yeah. You got to get your journal. My journal helped me a lot. My journal.
You changed my life with a journal.
I turned you on to journaling.
Yes, you did. I did a video on that, and I was like, somebody taught me about journaling, and God, you have to do it. Like,
you got to do it.
It's so good.
Journaling changed my life. Yes. I didn't start journaling until 2007 when my counselor said, you need to journal. You got all these thoughts in your head. And I'm telling you, I can go right down there right now and get you and show you how many journals, how many books I have with me studying, with me journaling, with me going back reading my progress. Oh my God. Journal. You would discover so much about yourself by writing, taking a pen to a piece of paper and just writing.
It's like a puzzle and stuff start connecting. I love it.
It is. So really, I know it sounds cliche to say that, but there is nothing like falling in love with Jesus first and falling in love, understanding what the love of God is and how much he loves you and how much he cares for you and how he'll play about you. Right. And then that just solidified me. Yeah. And once I was solidified in that, this is now easy. Yeah. Like, we're still learning each other. We still laugh. We still pick at each other. We still, we don't really argue that. We don't really argue. We'll have a disagreement here and there, but we laugh more than anything now.
I love that.
Because if anybody know Reggie, y'all know Reggie is petty.
I didn't see him on a space.
Reggie is funny. He funny without trying to be funny. And he messed with everybody. So really, God knew what he was doing when he brought me to, because I was hard. Reggie taught me how to laugh. He softened me up when it comes to laughing and stuff. So, but it took for me to discover who Jesus was to me, who God was to me in my life. And then once I discovered that, he me be. Yeah. And it's easy. It's just easier to be who I am now. Yeah. To be that one in my family. I still have a voice, but to be that one that everybody comes to be able to take care of my mom. My mom have her own room. She loves being here with me. Oh, you know what I mean? Nice. To be able to have, my daughter and my grandkids, we all living in our own little compound together, but to be able to provide that for them, to provide love. Everyone that comes here talks about the love and the peace that's in our home. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. So to be able to provide that, I wouldn't be able to do that if I didn't know the love of God. Yeah. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Yeah. So I'm going to leave the information on her book in the bio because I'm sure y'all want to hear more about her story. Okay, so I'm going to leave the book below. That's it. Get the book. And damaged goods made good. Yes. Make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe and be on the lookout for more videos. Bye. Thank you. Deuces.